1 in 4 individuals have mental health issues. Led by Clare Brenner, Myogenes is focused on the unique struggles of those with treatment-resistant schizophrenia. The only approved treatment has rare yet severe side effects. But through Myogenes, Clare has found a solution. Clare's journey is only told in part in this film, but it will help you to understand her motivation to do something tangible about the problem in treatment and care for patients with mental health challenges.
I'm the CEO and co-founder of Myogenes. I was 6 and my sister was almost 9, and she suffered with severe mental health. Started with not going to school. It got a lot worse. I remember she once called me in her room and said, look, and she'd carved my name in her arm. When I was younger, mental health was just not talked about. She would be in lots of different hospitals. A weekend out was really just going to sit in another hospital. And I remember thinking, she's getting help. She's seeing a psychiatrist. Why isn't anything helping her? Why isn't anyone doing anything? She would take overdoses or cut herself, not because she really wanted to die, it was because she was so unhappy. Sometimes she would say to me, I just want to go to sleep. I just don't want to feel like this anymore. "18 years ago, got the dreaded phone call to say that she's died. I didn't really understand mental health until I read her diaries, and she was so unhappy and she hated herself because of it. And I used to say, Tanya, you can do anything you want, but you don't see what's going on inside the person. I really just wanted to say to her, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I didn't understand how desperate you were. I went to clear her flat and we went under her bed. There were these huge drawers, and in those drawers there were just hundreds of medications, but all prescription, all with her name on, all prescribed by doctors. Valium and propranolol, probably 7 different antidepressants at ridiculously high dose. We had a meeting with her psychiatrists and I just said, why? I don't understand. Why was she on so much medication? Why was she on such a high dose? Why was she on all these different mixtures? I don't understand. And they just looked at me and they said, sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes we don't know the pills that are keeping a person alive or the ones that aren't. And I just thought, that's just not good enough. That's not an answer. You're the experts. With psychiatry, up until now, there's nothing. It is total and utter guesswork. There are guidelines. You're supposed to do one medication, a second medication, and then refer them to a psychiatrist. But in reality, it doesn't happen. So a patient goes to the doctor, they try the first medication, come back in 3, 4, 5 weeks, hasn't worked. And you just keep going through it. Now, what we know, the more you are treatment resistant, the more you become treatment resistant, by which time a patient is totally non-compliant and they're just going through that system and they never see a psychiatrist. If they do, there's about a 2.5-year wait in the NHS. You're talking children as well. We've got patients as young as 6 years old that need to be on medication. A simple saliva test can let you know the right medication and the right dose to avoid the trial and error of prescription medication. When we started 6 years ago, we were the first. We had to break the way. 1% of the population have schizophrenia, and there is one drug which is called clozapine, and it's the only drug for treatment-resistant schizophrenia, the only drug, and it has severe side effects. Doctors don't want to prescribe it. Once you've failed 2 antipsychotics, nothing will work, but they keep prescribing different medications because they're so scared to prescribe clozapine. There are patients that are in hospital section for 5 years. They're just lying in a hospital bed, being given different antipsychotics. It won't work. no medication will work apart from clozapine. 30% of people will respond to the first treatment. 30% roughly will respond to the second. 30 to 40% of people will not respond. Those people that don't respond to the second need to be on clozapine. Professor David Taylor, the head of pharmacology at the largest psychiatric hospital in the world, the Maudsley, he's developed with Myogenes a pharmacogenetic test, a simple saliva test that can help a doctor know whether a patient will or won't respond to clozapine. Patients that have treatment-resistant schizophrenia have no life. They are almost written off. They're either in a hospital or they're on the streets. 1 in 15 people with schizophrenia who are not on clozapine will commit suicide. With a very simple solution, this doesn't have to happen. We are knocking on doors. We've started to actually penetrate into the NHS, which is incredible. We've even done an impact model which shows the NHS will save, just on one drug, £1.7 billion over 3 years. Now, for an NHS that are desperate to save money, there's 1.7 billion just from one drug, one genetic test. The reason why I think I am so passionate is because there was no choice when she was alive. There was no choice. You just had to do trial and error. There is a choice now, and why shouldn't that choice be available? Why shouldn't everyone be offered a genetic test? What we want to do, and we won't stop until we get there, is to have the test available for every person with treatment-resistant schizophrenia.